Hey, welcome to Museum Nights. It is so exciting to see you all here. It is 7 o'clock for me, and it's probably 7 o'clock and 20 seconds for you because we are on delay on YouTube, almost live. I'm Eric Siegel, Director of Education at the Harn Museum of Art. This is our January Museum Nights. It is a monthly program. Got to turn down my audio there. There we go. It's a monthly program. We are meeting at 7 o'clock online. We will be returning to the museum in the future, date to be announced when it becomes clear. Museum Nights has in the past been a live in-person event, and you'll want to join us online until we go back to in-person. The in-person events have 300 to 900 people. They're a lot of fun. We will see when we're ready to do that. As you can guess, we're not quite there at the moment. We're on YouTube live and we're checking the chat. So my friends are helping me to monitor it. Please feel free to ask questions as we go along or share your thoughts and comments. We would love to hear your ideas for future Museum Nights content, your thoughts about the Harn, your thoughts about tonight, questions. This is a great chance to be interactive while we're live. The program will be archived or available to view anytime on YouTube, the Harn's YouTube channel. So tonight is Museum Nights Global Inspirations. We are inspired by the exhibition Global Perspectives, highlights from the contemporary collection at the Harn Museum, currently on view through September of this year, 2021, yay. Global Perspectives draws on all the collecting areas of the museum, and you'll get a good introduction from my colleague Dulcie in just a moment. I'm going to give you an overview of what we're doing tonight. We're going to start with that a visit with Dulcie and me in the galleries, and we'll get a sense of the exhibition and look at a few specific works of art together. Then my colleague Mimi from Education at the museum is going to join us with some UF students and former students, a variety of majors, but all passionate about photography and all winners of the UF International Center's Global Culture Photography Contest from the past couple of years. They're really exciting. Their work is really cool. We're looking forward to finding out the stories behind some of their global photographs. And your live questions will be very welcome then as well. Finally, I'm going to be joined, it'll be I'll share a video interview with Anupama Priyadarshini, a scientist, an artist, a wonderful person who has created in the museum, it's on view now, you can come and visit it, a Rangoli sand painting. You'll learn more about that and you'll get a chance to see it being made. We've got some great video. It's going to be very exciting to check that out. So a lot to go to. Let me just tell you a little bit about some of the things going on at the museum in person and online. You can go and visit the Terry Evans exhibition. Terry Evans is a photographer, and we have an exhibition, Stories of the American Prairies. You can visit that in person, and then you can join us online Sunday, February 7th at 3 p.m. to enjoy a live conversation between Terry Evans and a UF photography student, Myrna. They'll talk about photography, about Terry's work, which focuses on the Midwest, on ecology, and takes amazing views and takes you to amazing places. You'll really enjoy that. We've got our next hot time for those of you who are ages 2 to 5 or who know someone ages 2 to 5. That's online, February 5. All this information can be explored on the Harn website, harn.ufl.edu. And finally, I'll mention that you should check out our Harn at Home, which is for creatives and makers of all ages, whether you're a tot or a teen or a college student. There's a lot there, so we invite you to explore both digital content and activities inspired on our pages. Without further ado, I think it's time that we turn to introducing Dulcie and a little bit of me talking about global perspectives. So let's see if I can bring up that video and share my screen. It'll probably take 2 tries. Here's try 1. All righty, let's enjoy Dulcie introducing Global Perspectives.
Global Perspective celebrates the Harn's contemporary collection through a wide variety of works that were created between 1958 and 2016. The exhibition features more than 50 works, including paintings, prints, ceramics, photographs, mixed media, fashion, and video. Most of the works are drawn from the Harn collection, but we also have some wonderful works that are on loan from local collections. The show is a celebration of global interconnectedness. There are 32 artists in the exhibition, and they represent artists from Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, and the Caribbean. In curating the exhibition, I teamed up with curatorial colleagues, including Carol McCusker, curator of photography, Susan Cooksey, curator of African art, who retired in November, and Elisa Payton, assistant curator of Asian art. One of the sections explores the architecture and energy of city life in the United States. And there are a number of prints in this section and one painting, and they depict life from different vantage points, whether up close, such as some of the prints that show diners in New York City or figures outside in a public square, and also images that show the city from dizzying heights, for example, way high above New York City. And those are works by Yvonne Jacquet, who captured views of the city from airplanes, from helicopters, and also from tall buildings like the Empire State Building or the World Trade Center. Another section addresses works by artists from Latin America. They include Puerto Rican artists such as Lorenzo Omar, Roberto Tirado, and Myrna Báez, as well as Mexican artists, José Clemente Orozco and Leopoldo Méndez. And a number of their works address themes of political struggle and also resiliency of daily life. Next, we have a section addressing global trends in East Asian art. The artists represented in this section have worked at the forefront of cultural change. Examples include works by Japanese ceramists Satoru Hoshino, Japanese prints, photographs by Chinese and Korean artists, and paintings on paper by Chinese and Japanese artists. The final section includes artists from Africa. Several of the works here allude to or incorporate cultural and historical motifs, often posing a counterpoint to contemporary ideas and issues. Highlights include ceramics by Magdalene Odundo, who was born in Kenya, and a number of works by Ghanaian artists, including a painting by Jeremiah Kwarshi, a textile ensemble by Juliana Norteye, and a spectacular large multimedia wall piece by El Anatsui. Altogether, the works featured in Global Perspectives allow us to explore intersections and resonances across temporal and spatial boundaries, cultures, and artistic genres that illuminate these artists' global commonalities and accomplishments.
Right, so one of the works I wanted to take a look at with you, Dulcie, is this, it's actually a drawing by Roberto Yiyo Tirado, a Puerto Rican artist born in 1990, trained in Puerto Rico, works there, exhibits there, but also he exhibits internationally, a great deal in Latin America, as well as he's been in Miami and Los Angeles. He's well known for his installation projects, his printmaking, sculptures even, but this, as I said, is actually a drawing. It's on graphite, so it's rather than it being a print, it's a single work. It's undated, it's untitled, but here it's, he's written his name and it says 14, so it may be from 2014. And for me, it was very sort of powerful just as a visual image. I'm curious, Dulcie, if there's something about it that captures your attention.
Well, when I first saw this drawing, I was captivated by the scale, the difference in scale. I mean, I can readily make out that this is a coin, an American coin. It says United States of America, and I'm trying to read the text, which is upside down, so that's kind of a fun exercise. But then on closer looking, I saw the little figures and was trying to imagine what's happening here. Why are they being are they being crushed? What's happening? And what did you make of that?
That was exactly my train of thought, too. I thought it was really a stark composition. There's a lot of white paper, very bold drawing, strong contrasts of light and dark on the quarter. Scale, of course, as you mentioned. I brought a quarter along as a visual example in case you're not familiar with the U.S. quarter. It's quite a bit larger. It's upside down, so as Dulcie noted, it's a little difficult to read, but it's entirely accurate. It actually has a printer's mark, the P, which is Philadelphia, but here perhaps it evokes a little bit Puerto Rico, since that's so much the context for his work. And then it does seem a little bit humorous, just in the sense of the quarter being so large as depicted, and these figures, although seeming to be suffering, so not that funny, darkly humorous, I would say, they're so very small. And my first thought was that it had something to do, I mean, he's, as an artist, is interested in sort of critical perspectives on social and political developments, contemporary issues. So I thought it was perhaps the American dollar crushing the Puerto Rican people, related perhaps to the 2014 government debt crisis and the austerity measures, which have been so difficult for people to live under. But when we look a little closer, who are the people that you see here? We see that it's apparently 3 men, and they're not wearing jeans or t-shirts or casual wear or folk outfits or traditional wear of any kind. They're wearing apparently suits, and all of them have shaven heads, so they're very kind of anonymous and uniform. And so that sort of put a little twist, made me think a little further that these might be those very people who are complicit in the colonialism project of dominating Puerto Rico, right? The people who benefit as lawyers or politicians or capitalists in Puerto Rico by the relationship to the U.S. dollar, because they seem to be the ruling class, and yet they're crushed by that very dollar or here quarter that they work for and serve. So it's really an interesting critique, and I did pull out a quotation from Yiyo, as he's often called, Tirado, where he said that his work consists of investigations into the various cultural forms in which post-colonialism builds hybrid systems of domination over Caribbean territories, especially Puerto Rico. So in this intriguing drawing, I think he's captured something of that an indictment or a warning about colonial conditions of dependence. I invite you to come look at it. It's beautifully drawn and very powerful. Should we take another stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Eric, I picked this work to talk about. This is one of my favorites in the exhibition. It's by Myrna Báez, and she's one of the most important Puerto Rican painters and printmakers, especially of the second half of the 20th century. And she studied art in Madrid at the Real Academia, which is one of the most prestigious art academies in Spain. And then she went back to Puerto Rico and was really influential as an educator. And she actually was influential in a couple of organizations like the Institute of Puerto Rican Culture and also the Art Students League of San Juan. And in her work with these organizations, she was also a really important promoter of the younger generation of women artists. So she was a very important figure. I was especially drawn to the title of this work and wondered if you had any thoughts on it. It's called La Coqueta de Doña Julia.
So it's something about Lady Julia. I don't know what a coqueta is. It sounds like a coquette in English, but I don't want to make a mistake in translating based upon assumptions, so I'm going to have to defer to you on that.
Okay, well, yes, a coquette is a flirtatious girl, and we also have a similar term in English, which would be a vanity. So this is the vanity or the dressing table of Doña Julia. I was struck by the name Doña Julia because it reminds me of visiting Puerto Rico as a child and how my mother always called my grandmother Doña Urania. So just like we do in the American South, where we refer to people who are either older or are elders with special prominence and say Miss or Mr., and we use their first name. In Puerto Rico, it's common to say Doña Julia, to give an older woman or an elder this special prestige. So here we are in an intimate space, an interior, and this is presumably the bedroom or the dressing room or maybe even the bathroom of a mature woman named Doña Julia. The next thing that struck me about this work was the objects that are displayed on Doña Julia's dressing table. So we have a vase with flowers, and we also have this beautiful image of the Virgin Mary and Jesus. And this is actually referencing a famous Byzantine icon from the 12th to the 15th centuries that's been in a church in Rome since about 1499. And it shows Our Lady of Perpetual Help. And so this is a popular devotion of the Virgin Mary, and Catholics pray to her for guidance and for help. So it's an interesting choice of image that maybe is giving special protection to the woman whose room we are looking at.
It's quite compelling, and the more time you spend with it, the more you see that the space, which seems very simple at first, feels to be complicated, and it becomes harder to make things out, the relationships of objects. This is a mirror or a window or a distant view through a doorway.
Yes, mirrors and views to rooms beyond, like through windows or doorways, are really an important motif in her work. And in this case, the mirror then is reflecting the rest of the room. So the part of the room that we can't see, but we have a view into it here. So it expands what we see in the room. Another, I don't know if it's a sink or another dresser or table, but there is also a view out the window. And Myrna Báez was really interested in bright color and also in referencing light, climate, times of day. And here we can see the view outdoors, and we have a cloudy day. And those clouds are even permeating the room. They've almost taken over the wall in the background. And on closer view, if you can see this little figure, it looks like it's an angel with wings, and just made me think in the context of Our Lady of Perpetual Help that perhaps this is a guardian figure or a protective figure for the subject.
The flowers are very much alive. Often flowers are memento mori, symbols of the ephemerality of life. Cut flowers live and then they die, and so their death is a little bit implied in their being present here. And there's a lot of shadows here. There's a sense, possibly, at least for me, as I'm looking at it from this angle, that it's a little mournful or somber.
I agree, and it's possible that this is a memory or in reference, memorial to someone who's was no longer with the artist, that she was maybe missing or memorializing in the picture.
Thank you so much for taking us into this picture. I would invite viewers to come see it in person, because in addition to what you're seeing now, perhaps you can't make out the interesting textures as a result of the print process in part, but also her handling of the ink on the paper. It's really has a lot of subtlety and rewards close looking.
I agree. Good point.
Thanks, Dulcie.
Thank you.
So Dulcie, I know that you, like myself, and I think everyone at the museum, is a big fan of Kehinde Wiley. The Dogon couple, which hangs across from this painting, is a large and beautiful painting by Wiley that's on view at the museum as part of Global Perspectives, and we invite people to come visit it. For this stop, I thought we'd take a look at this painting from 2018, Margaret, Countess of Blessington. Of course, that title's very specific and seems a jarring misfit for the image. Kehinde Wiley is a Los Angeles-born artist. In 1977 he was born, and he's widely recognized for his intensely realistic figural portraits of people placed against these gorgeous floral backgrounds, and very often drawing on the Western European tradition of portraiture of monarchs, aristocrats, and well-to-do, typically white people. And he's well known for his portraits of young Black men, often in the roles of these traditional portrait paintings. Here we have a figure who's anonymous to us, but here he's shown as noble and empowered, self-confident. He fills the frame, and what he seems to share with Margaret, Countess of Blessington, is this very distinct hand position, which matches that in the photograph and the Thomas Lawrence portrait from the 19th century of Margaret of Blessington. She herself had an extremely trying youth. She suffered tremendously at the hands of drunk and selfish men, but rose to become a woman who ruled culture in salons and was very admirable in her literary accomplishments. The image here seems to channel something of the pain of Margaret into a figure who claims his own heritage, lineage, and inspiration, particularly summoning, I think, Egypt. His t-shirt just reveals the word Egypt. This scarf, which is a little hard to identify, certainly has suggestions of the Middle East to it, and he has this incredibly self-composed presentation. It's really a powerful and inspiring painting that we're so pleased to have on view as alone here at the museum.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, welcome back from the tour. That was a great experience for me to look at art with Dulcie in the Contemporary Gallery, Global Perspectives. I mentioned earlier, it's on view until September 5. There's still more art to look at. There's artists to talk to. And right now I'm going to invite my colleague, Mimi Stocker, to join us. Got to go find her. Oh, she made it happen. Hey, Mimi, great to see you. How are you this evening?
Good, how are you?
Are you on mute or?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh no,
There you go. Excellent.
okay.
I was on mute. Great. So Mimi, you're going to speak with some of our the Global Culture Photography winners and learn about their work and the stories behind their art. I'm going to step back and enjoy the program. Thank you. I'm trying. I was on mute. Great. Mimi, you're going to speak with
and Diana's coming on. Hi Diana, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me and can you see me?
I can hear you and now I can see you. And Yewande, hi. Thank you so much to both of you for taking some time to come join us for museum nights. I'm going to share my screen. So, you are both first place winners of the Global Photography Contest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Diana, you're a two-time winner, is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations to both of you. I just thought I'd get started just to introduce what the contest is. So this photo contest has been going on for the past 18 years with the UF International Center. And there are 3 different categories where first, second, and third place is awarded. And Diana, you won this year in the alumni category.
Mm-hmm.
And Yewande, you were in the service learning and study abroad. Awesome. And then
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted.
You're good. And then the other category is the faculty and staff category. So we also have we have Yewande and Diana's photographs, and then we also have some photographs from another winner, Foad Sayed Mohammadi, and he couldn't join us today, unfortunately, but after we speak, I'll be playing a little video clip where he talks about his work. So I thought we could just dive right in. If both of you would like to briefly introduce yourselves, that would be great. Just maybe what you're studying or studied, and just a little bit about what interests you in applying to the contest.
I don't know who wants to go first.
I mean, you've done this before, Diana. Come on.
All right. Yeah, so my name is Diana, and I did my undergrad in marketing and mass communication studies. And then I did a master's in international business. So those two photographs are actually, one of them is from one of my trips with that Master of International Business program. We got to go to Malaysia for a couple of days, just learn some of their business practices and their culture. So that first one is the Batu Caves in Malaysia. It was a really, really pretty place, and it was actually kind of rainy. And you can see people with their umbrellas there, but we made the most out of it. So that was a really good time. Oh, but yeah, as far as my background, that's mainly it about myself. And I'm currently working full time from home.
Me too. Thank you, Diana. Yewande?
I'm a fourth year doctoral student out of the College of Journalism and Communication. And my research interests revolve around health, culture, and identity, and using those things to develop communication related interventions to reduce disparities. So that's kind of my
Um,
boilerplate.
Thanks. Can you tell us a little bit about your photograph? We're looking at it right now. Maybe I can stop. I'll pause on the slide so we can take a closer look. I was really struck by the colors in both of your photographs. Just so happened that like both have like these really vibrant kind of pinks that are just like so eye-catching, really draw you in.
Yeah, it was certainly a moment. I guess when I was experiencing it, it seemed pretty ordinary. But then when I thought about it later, it was very kind of multi-layered in the situation. I met this woman, her name is Kumba, and she was carrying her son Bashir. Uh, we were both taking a ferry on the way to Gore Island. I was visiting Senegal, so I was in Dakar at the time. And on the ferry, there was just all this spirited conversation on board. You know, some people speaking in French, some people speaking in Wolof. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful, scenic day. You know, we're navigating these waves like very gently on our way from Dakar to Gore. And I just noticed her. I noticed Kumba just laughing and gisting with some of the tour guides that were taking people over. And I couldn't help myself. I was like, you know, the baby looked so cute. It was just one of those almost delicious moments that I wanted to archive for myself personally. And so I'm like trying to very surreptitiously and quickly snap this photo so I don't like embarrass myself. And as soon as I took it, I'm like, I froze, and then she looks up and she's like, "Would you like me to smile?" And it was like this very cheeky moment where we kind of just laughed about it and we introduced ourselves. And I showed her the picture that I took, and I looked at it, and it was at the exact moment that I took the picture that her son just kind of peeked his eyes out from under the wrapper that he was being carried in, and he just looked like two little jewel tones in his face. It was just such a beautiful moment that I'm so happy that I was able to capture. Because before I even thought to enter it and knew about the global photo competition, it was just something that I would just scroll to on my phone and just kind of drift off about. Especially since we're going to Gore Island, which is a slave fort. And you know, I look at that photo and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Mother and son, this very scenic moment, beautiful day in a country that I've always wanted to go to. And then after we introduced ourselves, we just kind of had this I had a very pensive moment of just thinking about all of the mothers and sons that were ripped away from each other, generations ago, during the transatlantic slave trade. So that's what the picture is for me.
Yeah, the sun's eyes are so beautiful, and he's looking right at you. It's like hypnotizing almost.
I know.
Um, was this your first time visiting?
Yes, it was. I saw a picture of the African Renaissance Monument and I was like, I have to go to this country. This country is amazing. And I just very randomly found a flight and dragged my cousin along to go with me. And we had a blast. The people of Senegal were very kind and it was just a beautiful country.
That's awesome. Diana, let me scroll to your photos. So I have both of your photos up. Welcome to talk about either or both. I just thought I'd include them both. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit of the backstory behind?
Yeah. So the one on the right, the one for this year, that was taken in Bangkok. So that's a temple called Wat Arun, and it's a Buddhist temple. And actually, whenever you go to any of these temples in Bangkok, they are full of not just tourists, but actual people that are, going to pray and everything. So here for this photo specifically, there was no one in front of the temple, which was like my perfect moment to take a picture. But also there was a sunset going around in the background, and obviously, I had to put this into Lightroom and play with it a little bit more, but the sunset was unreal. And a photograph can never pick up what it actually looks like in person. So in person, it was absolutely breathtaking. But what stood out to me the most about the temple itself is that it's from the 16th century, I believe, and you can just see how like well preserved it's been over all these years. And I'm sure there was a reconstruction actually in like 2017, but still for a temple to look this good after so many like centuries, it's just amazing to me. And you can also see like the little dirt on the steps and everything, and that's just from time. But this is just one of the most pristine places that I've ever been in, and it just, yeah, it just is a really, really pretty place.
Yeah, it's funny that you say, a photograph can't capture like the beauty, because I look at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is stunning. I can't imagine
Thank you.
what it'd be like in person.
Yeah.
So could you both tell me a little bit about your interest in photography? I'm wondering, have you been photographing for a while? Is it something that is more of a hobby? Is it something you've been practicing? What kind of style photography interests you?
Yeah, I started to really pick up on photography in middle school actually. And it was because my mom is a photographer, so she is incredible. And my favorite types of photography, and I've gotten this from her, are nature or like landscape photography, which I think is pretty evident in both of those photos. But I also really like macro photography. So I like taking pictures of flowers and really getting those like close ups of, I guess, nature's gifts to us. But yeah, I've been practicing for a while, and I have like a lifelong dream of working for National Geographic one day, but we'll see if it'll happen or not.
That's awesome. My parents are photographers too.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
They're photojournalists.
oh, that's awesome.
Well, coming on the other side of the spectrum. I'm one that's always appreciated photography, but I've never had like I've taken a class, not a lot of super formal training, just more so an appreciator of beautiful things and beautiful aesthetics. And I'm very much so like shot with an iPhone, type person. And so that was one of those moments that was very much so supported by, just a high-end phone or just a good camera. And I'm all about like a point shoot. And I may not recognize all of the fundamentals of photography, depth of field and all these very high thinking or high art ways of looking at photography, but I definitely am one that can recognize a moment. And so, with the little fundamental knowledge that I do have, I'm always trying to see if I can kind of freeze a moment with whatever um, space I'm in. If in terms of photography, I'm totally a novice, but I definitely appreciate the art form.
Was your photograph taken with an iPhone or phone?
Yes,
Wow, it's amazing.
thank you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
you,
unreal.
yeah, you definitely have the eye, and that is a huge, huge part of it. Um, wow, I would have never guessed you took that on a phone. Um, so you both obviously have traveled extensively. Have you traveled? Well, I guess we're not, no one's really traveling now, but um, can you tell me a little bit about um, your experiences traveling, maybe how that's kind of inspired your kind of creative practices, a little bit about that, maybe where you draw your inspiration.
Yeah, I think the trip to Asia actually was my very first trip outside of the US with the exception of Peru because I was born in Peru. So I've been there a couple times during the summer, but my first time going out east was Asia. So I'm definitely inspired by the richness and colors of the different places, different countries that I got to visit. And I'm looking forward to the day when we can travel again. I actually had plans this past summer before COVID and everything to go to Machu Picchu for the first time, which would have been amazing. And I probably would have gotten really great shots. Um, but yeah, I think when it comes to traveling, it's definitely something that I would like to continue to do in the future. And I don't really envision um, myself not traveling. So something that I look forward to in the future for sure.
Wow, Diana, we're like opposites in a lot of different ways. So I think it's interesting that we're both a part of this conversation right now.
Mhm.
But I'm very much so like avid traveler. Um, I my first international trip was when I was 1 years old, well, turning 1 years old. I was going back to we're going to Nigeria to visit family, and I think I've just always moved like I belong everywhere. With the luxury of having the type of passport that I have with that the privilege that comes along with that. Um, and I'm heartbroken right now at the fact that we can't travel as frequently as I'd like to. I was planning a trip to go to China right before COVID became like huge. So I just think that timing is interesting. Um, but it's one of my greatest joys. And it's the way that I feel like I'm able to connect to people that I wouldn't normally have anything in common with. I mean, I've had some wild experiences of where I haven't been able to communicate in language, and you find all these other ways to tap into, your needs, and communicating kindness and communicating awe over the beauty of a new space or a new culture that you're being exposed to. So it's that's how I think about travel.
Yeah, definitely. Um, have you, either of you, been taking any photographs at home or wherever you're located now, since unfortunately we can't travel?
Yeah, I actually got for a little bit, I got into miniature photography. There's this photographer that I follow, and she does like really cool, like at home setups with like fruits and vegetables. And then she bought the little miniature people from Amazon. So it's kind of fun. And honestly, for a while there, I kind of had a creativity block especially during COVID. I really didn't know what to do, and I hadn't picked up my camera in a while. So I started to do that, and that was fun for a little bit. And then now I just try to go to parks sometimes with my mom, and we take pictures of the landscape there. And then I still do a lot of macro photography of flowers and such, but nothing outside of that. But it's something to keep me going and to keep me inspired.
Yeah, I definitely experienced the creativity blockage,
Mm-hmm.
but I've felt it coming back recently.
Yeah. You gotta get
Um,
back into something.
well, I don't do much photography these days. I'm more of the Instagram scroller, just admiring what's already been taken or what's out there. I did find a Facebook page that I thought was really interesting where people just kind of take pictures of what's going on outside their window as we're all quarantined from all over the world. And so it's interesting to see the view, the global view that we all have, or that specific views that people have. Um, you said something, Diana, that made me, I guess, maybe visually, I'm not able to take pictures of things that I'd like to take pictures of or have, something to remember or archive those experiences for myself. But I do think that there's been just more time to have review of things that have been taken that I may not have normally noticed if I weren't in quarantine, and tap into other ways of connecting with people virtually that would never have been on my radar before. So,
Um, what you mentioned about the photographs from outside of people's windows reminds me of an artist that we actually have on view in the museum right now in an exhibition called Breaking the Frame. She's a photographer. Her name's Rania Matar, and she has been doing a series where she's actually on the outside and she's taking pictures of people who are in their homes, kind of in their window frames. Um, and they are stunning. And you can see uh, kind of the change in seasons from the window reflections. There's people alone, there's people with their families. They're really beautiful. So if you get to the Harn anytime soon, you can check them out. Her work's awesome, and she's on Instagram too, where she posts some of the series. So yeah, there's always inspiration in the little things too. Well, this has been really great chatting with both of you. Congratulations again. You have really beautiful photographs. They are on view in the Grinter Gallery. Is that correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on view through
I think the end of the month, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
so I'll have to go visit the Grinter Gallery and check it out for myself. So thank you again so much. It's been a pleasure to chat and to view your work. I'm gonna play a little video of Foad's work. So definitely stick around to check that out. We've been looking at his photographs too in this little slideshow. So thank you again. It's been such a pleasure to talk with you both.
Thank you very much.
So
So we can take another look at Foad's photographs. He's written a statement. Eric, are you there?
I'm here.
Would you be able to either share the images of the PowerPoint,
Yes.
or read either?
I'll go ahead and do both. Is this in a slideshow? I'm gonna have to pause it as well. You've been having that. And I will try and share my screen that I have open. There we go. Great. Mimi, by the way, Yewande and Diana were delightful, and your conversation was so inspiring. Thank you for that. Foad unfortunately couldn't be here, but he, along with his photographs, had a short statement that we wanted to share with you because it connects to everything we've been discussing. After coming to the United States in 2018, I focused on my research and thesis, the manipulation in pure photography. For part of this research, I went to Iran during a break and took this series of photographs. I took these two photos, tea in a bazaar and color in a bazaar. Color in a bazaar in the daily market in Kurdistan, close to the Iraq-Iran-Turkey borders. Daily bazaars are a series of shops that are erected for one day. Curse you. Are erected for one day and for one day. The history of some of the shops go back more than 100 years. People get together in the same place for over a century now. There is no architecture or permanent structures, just a bunch of temporary things to hold the daily shops where goods are traded. Daily markets are the best place to see naive and pure thoughts from humans. It's also the best place to take straight photography. Tea in the bazaar is a shot of a temporary cafe shop where they make tea for customers and merchants. I got to enjoy the taste and aroma of a hot tea in winter. The moment can't be captured in a picture, which is why I want to show these pure photography images as derived from reality. Thanks so much, Foad. That was really a wonderful contribution to the conversation we've had. Mimi, thank you so much for creating such a wonderful event and for sharing questions from the chat. Really great. We have one more stop tonight, which is to invite or actually present a pre-recorded video because it includes the creation of an artwork, a conversation between myself and Anupama Priyadarshini. Anu is here in the chat, so you can actually ask her questions in the chat while we're enjoying the interview and watching her work. I'm gonna queue up the video, share the screen, and let's see how we do. Let me turn off my.
I'm Eric Siegel, and this is Anu Priyadarshini, who is a guest artist here at the museum creating a Rangali sand painting, which is in process right now, and right here between us. Anu, thank you so much for being here. It's really an honor and a pleasure to spend the morning and now the afternoon with you. We've had a lot of visitors stopping by to watch and ask a lot of questions. One of the questions they ask, right in the last 5 minutes, a couple people have said, how long have you been working so far?
So this Rangoli piece not done yet, not finished yet. I started around 10 and it's almost 1.5 hours, so here.
So that's about an hour and a half. It's been wonderful to watch you work. its creation. It's sort of part dance, and really remarkable. Can we begin by having you tell me about yourself a little bit?
Okay, so my name is Anupama Priyadarshini. I'm basically from India. I live in Gainesville. As a Indian folk artist, I am doing Rangoli art and kind of Indian folk art, just like Mithila painting also for Indian community and Gainesville community too.
Just now, and I've seen you elsewhere refer to yourself as a folk artist.
Yeah.
You're also a scientist, you're an advocate for environmental issues, and you're a fine artist. You do folk art traditions, but you also practice, I think, painting on canvas. And tell us a little bit about how you...
Yeah, I am entomologist too. I'm working as a curator assistant at the Florida Museum of Natural History. As an artist, I'm also working Arts and Medicine program for UF Health Science. And now I'm here for Harn Museum. Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Mimi.
Such a pleasure.
And thank you, Harn.
Yes, Mimi Stalker is my colleague that we've been working with anew together. And you mentioned, of course, that this is a Rangali sand painting. Can you tell us a little bit about what Rangali is?
Thank you. So Rangoli is Indian folk art, patterns created on the floor. So materials, we are using colored sand, colored rice. Sometimes I'm using flowers petals also. All kind of natural colors, just like turmeric, vermilion, you know that?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, spices coming from kitchen, I love to do that with...
Beautiful and tasty, yes.
Yeah. And the basic color is actually powdered white rice or wet white rice, paste of powdered rice, okay?
So Rangoli, can you tell us a little bit about where it comes from? I understand that it's at least a couple of thousand years old as a practice. Is that right?
Yeah. So it's ancient art, actually. Yeah.
So I was asking. Rangoli is, I think, a couple of millennia old at least, and I'm curious. And it's practiced throughout India. I'm curious if you can tell me a little bit about why it's practiced, how it's used, what are the occasions?
So this is actually for welcoming visitors, inviting people, and also people thought this is for bring good luck, So some people like to draw the main entrance of the home. Also, big festivals and big events.
Big events.
Yeah.
So I love it here for the Harn Museum because insofar as it symbolizes welcome and good luck, we're ready for some good luck here early in 2021, the new year.
Yeah.
And,
thank you for that.
And of course, we're delighted to have it inside the museum near the front entrance so people can feel the welcome it offers.
That's why I love this space.
Yes, the space. It's very beautiful here.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you first began to do Rangoli and how that's evolved for you?
This art is actually coming from my family. My mom did that, and I saw, and just in our festivals we do every occasion or we have lots of events. So I did with my mom, and then just like professional,
Yes.
Yeah. The center part is only in my mind, and then after that, the design, I did that. I don't know what is the end result, but I will do that.
So you knew you were going to start
Yeah.
with the orange and the blue part, and then from there, it evolved. You just responded to it and continued exploring patterns.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to watch you work. You use your fingers and pencil erasers and funnels and sieves. You get to handle the sand, and do you have a special connection with that and the textures, and you get to walk in it in bare feet?
In India, North India and South India is a little bit different design and techniques and all thing. So we are using generally paste of powdered rice. So this one is not my style, but here in Florida, it's easily available sand, So I'm using colored sand with rangoli. Yeah.
Yes, it's very beautiful. So a lot of skill and practice and experience, and then you spend hours creating it. How do you feel knowing that it's going to be eventually wiped away?
I don't think I'm sad because, art or every living thing, living thing is gone, If you are here, then sometimes you are not here. So it's okay.
It's part of that cycle of life.
Part of life, yeah.
Which makes me think about your environmental interests. I believe that you are passionate about elephants and elephant preservation. Is that right?
Yeah. So in Gainesville, I did fundraising for CIFAE, Conservation for Asian Elephant. Here, Ron Chandler from UF, he is the founder of CIFAE.
So a real conjunction of your scientific interests, your environmental passions, your artistic.
I love elephants, peacocks. If you see my paintings or rangoli, lots of art is based on peacock and elephant. Yeah, I love that.
Great. I think I've seen some of your elephants and certainly your peacocks on your website. And I will pop your website into our video, maybe around here, so people can go visit it.
Thank you.
And see some of those other works that you've done featuring the birds and the beasts of the world. It's really wonderful to talk with you, Anu. You did produce a sand painting with the participation of visitors in 2018 in the gallery of the lobby. Here we are further into the galleries. Is this your first time doing a sand painting really inside a museum proper?
So this is my first time doing this kind of art inside. I did actually earlier in outside, just like Depot Park, and outside of, for Nurses Week 2 at Sands. So outside I did that, but not inside. Thank you, Eric.
I feel like we found a space where it will be safe and not trampled on, and people will be able to enjoy it, both while you're making it today and while it remains on view.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu.
Thank you, Eric.
Alrighty. Enjoy museum nights.
Hey, so wonderful to share Anu at work on the Rangoli painting that is currently on view at the Harn. You can come to the museum and see it in person through this Sunday. So tomorrow's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it will be swept away, and we won't be sad because Anu said that's okay. I have one more wonderful thing to share with you in just a moment, which is a 1 minute, 20-second time lapse of the entire sand painting being created over the course of, I think it was about 5 hours, but you'll see it in a minute and a half. Before I play that, let me just remind you as we head towards the close of museum night, there's a lot going on at museum. There's a lot online, www.harn.ufl.edu. Harn, H-A-R-N. Please check out the website for things to do and things to watch, and come see our exhibitions. We are open. Hours are listed on the website. Terry Evans and Myrna Sachs will be speaking live online right here, Harn YouTube channel. Sunday, February 7th at 3 p.m. The current exhibition is Terry Evans' Stories of the American Prairies, and UF student photographer Myrna Sachs will be in conversation with Terry Evans. Looking forward to that tremendously. Top times coming up February 5 online. Again, check our website. And Harn at Home has many activities. You're wondering about the next museum night, a month from now. That would be what, January? We are January now, so that'd be February 11th, I believe. Sankofa. We're celebrating the arts and creative spirits from many cultures of Africa. Looking forward to sharing with you and partnering with the University of Florida Center for African Studies in presenting that online exhibition, again, right here on YouTube. So now let me, as we segue to farewells, thank Mimi, thank Diana and Yewande and Foad for joining us, Anu, of course, and my many colleagues who have worked so hard for tonight. And now I'm going to share this amazing time lapse with you. Let me again line that up. See if I can get this going before, and I will share screen. Play, here we go. So I think we are rolling. I guess I can talk over this because there's no audio. Again, Anu created this Rangoli just this past week. Many of it, you can see some of the visitors stopping and admiring and just being astounded by her creative and talented spirit as she spontaneously develops this design. So glad that we're able to host it at the museum and that you can, again, still visit it through Sunday. The museum's open until 5 o'clock Friday, 5 o'clock Saturday, 5 o'clock Sunday. And looking forward to you checking it out. A lot of other exhibitions in the 5 collecting areas of the museum are on view, so there's always a lot to see. Thank you so much for joining us for Museum Night. It's been a real pleasure. We look forward to seeing you in a month when we present Sankofa. And in the meantime, please stay well, stay healthy, stay careful, and treat each other beautifully. Thank you very much. Good night.